Hey YouTube, how are you? This is another edition of Typical Geeks. This is episode number 7 with me and my co-host Jack McLean and McLean's Computers. I hope everybody's having a great week out there. We got some cool stuff to talk about today. I think we got a good show for you. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my co-host on, Jack McLean, via Skype. How you doing, Jack?
Doing great.
Lot went on this last week, huh? A lot of cool stuff going on. Apple refreshed the iMac for one.
That's about time.
We've got the new Surface tablets. We're going to be talking a little bit about those. You have a demo of a product. What was the name of that? Elegant. So you've been doing a product demo on that. So we got a lot to get talking about. But the first thing I want to talk about is video editing is something I probably will be doing more and more of, right? Mm-hmm. And when there's let me tell you, it's a big world out there when it comes to video. There's a ton of different software that people use for editing. If you're in the Mac world, of course you get a Mac. It ships with iMovie. Mm-hmm. There is Premiere Elements that you can purchase through the App Store for your Mac. You can get that from Adobe. And then, of course, there's Final Cut Pro 10, which is the high-end video editor for the Mac on the Mac side. And then there's a whole plethora of editors on the Windows side. There's Sony Vegas, which is a high-end video editor. There is Adobe Premiere. There's Premiere Elements. Both of those products are available for the PC. Mm-hmm. The one that I'm actually looking at right now, I'm going to go ahead and just bring this up on the screen, is called PowerDirector 12, and it is from CyberLink. And after doing a lot of homework and looking at different video editors, this may be the one that I use. And basically, I've got a 30-day trial installed on this thing right now. And it's available in different versions, by the way. And the different versions, it starts out from $69 on up, depending on what version you get, to about $300. And the one I'm looking at is actually the Ultimate Suite. So what you get with this Ultimate Suite, and I'll just go ahead and bring the shot back to you and I. What you get in the Ultimate Suite is you get PowerDirector, which is the video editor. Then you get what's called Audio Director, and then Color Director. And so these are like 3 different apps, and they all kind of work together. And Audio Editor, what the reason I'm looking at the suite just rather than the video editor is Audio Editor is really close to Adobe Audition. It looks very similar to Audition, but it's a whole lot less money. And they use some isotope plugins in there, and it's got some really unique features for cleaning up sound. And so the way it kind of works, you're in the video editor. And okay, so you can just do your adjustments right in there. There's what they call a wave editor in there. You can do minor different adjustments to audio there. You can do your color adjustments there. There's what they call, I think they're called the New Blue video effects. You have those within there. But for more serious work, what you can do is you can send the entire video over to Audio Director and really do some hardcore work on the audio. And you can denoise it. You can, they have a plugin in there that'll put like a noise gate on there, a compressor, a limiter, all those features in there. And you can add different effects. There's an equalizer. You can do a lot of really nice stuff with the audio. And when you're done, you send it back to PowerDirector, the editor. Okay, so you're finished. You got this really great sound. And then when you've got all your edits and all that stuff done, then you can send it over to Color Director, and Color Director gives you really professional quality tools for tweaking the color of the video. And so you do your thing in that, and then you come back, and then you're ready to export. And of course, it can export into different formats. And I'm going to kind of bring up some of the features.
Now, is this PC only?
Unfortunately, it is.
Okay.
Cindy was real disappointed to learn that there's not a Mac version
Right.
of it.
Well, that's okay. Mac gets Final Cut Pro. I guess it's only fair that the PC gets PowerDirector. So.
Well, that is certainly one way to look at it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this shot back up here, and basically you get quite a few goodies with this thing. I cannot wait for Wirecast 5 to come out. I really can't. But you get if you get the $69 version, what you don't get is like multicam support. So with the more advanced versions of PowerDirector, you can have multi-camera shots in there. And that's really sophisticated stuff. And for a guy that basically makes YouTube videos, it's way overkill. I mean, it is big. Yeah. I mean, it is big time overkill for me.
Right.
But it does leave room for growth. And if I wanted to start getting, it also supports the creation of 4K video. So you have those capabilities built in. It is a prosumer video editor, and it turns out to be probably one of the best selling on the market. Is very prosumer, and it's actually pretty affordable. It's, if you're not quite ready for like Premiere or Sony Vegas, then this is going to be, I mean, a pro could definitely use all the features, and there's a lot of features a consumer would never touch, but it doesn't, it kind of has different ways of operating. It's not that hard, I think, to get a professional quality video out of this app. So it's pretty cool. And so right now I'm doing a 30-day trial, and I'm actually going to attempt to edit this episode of Typical Geeks. Now, I love messing around with video software, video editing. You ever mess around with video editing stuff?
A little bit. I probably should get into it more than what I do. My YouTube videos would definitely look better. I tend to sit down with a video editor, and after about 30 minutes, I get frustrated with it and have to walk away from it and say a few expletives and come back to it later. But yeah, I tend to get frustrated with video editors. Anything more powerful than iMovie or my screencast software, ScreenFlow or whatever, anything much more complex than that, I tend not to mess with. I mean, you can turn some pretty decent stuff out. If you know what you're doing with iMovie and ScreenFlow, you can turn some pretty decent YouTube videos out. But no, I really hadn't. I sat down with Final Cut Pro on a friend's machine for maybe 30 to 45 minutes one day, and I just got so frustrated with it. There's just so much that you can do. There's so much that the pro can do, and there's so many options available for the average consumer. It can be a little confusing, So, but I'm going to try to get a little bit better at my video editing skills. I'm going to have to just sit down and force myself to do it.
Well, I think what happens is you have all this power there, right? You have all these effects, these transitions, and all this cool stuff that you can do, and people want to play around with that, and they overproduce the video, where people's watching it gets motion sickness from all this stuff.
So overkill, right?
Well, it really is. Good clean video, good color, good sound goes a long way. I just use simple cut transitions. Boom, cut right to the shot. Right, I mean, you don't go to a movie theater and see, swipe type, transitions, and you don't see any of that stuff, right? They do the fast cut, and you're, what I'm saying, where it's almost seamless.
You're there, right?
That's what people want. I don't think most people enjoy all the weird for, I guess, when you're doing a movie for like a kid's birthday party or something, it's all right. And of course, most of these transitions and effects are for home users, but if you're really making a quality product, you're going to avoid almost all those transitions. And
well, either that or you're going to custom make your own. I mean, you're
going to do something.
You got something in mind, right?
out there on your own. But anyhow, so that's what I'm doing. I'm evaluating that. But PowerDirector is one of the big things because, I do audio podcasts and as well, and I use Audacity. And I learned, when I first started podcasting, I used GarageBand. GarageBand sucks as a podcasting tool. Uh,
Well, be honest about it, Bruce.
I,
Tell us how
I,
you really feel.
I will really tell you, it's pretty horrible for,
You know, I've never attempted to use GarageBand. My wife does because she teaches music at this, among other things. She teaches music at the school where she teaches, and she has used GarageBand, and she seems to like it pretty well. Although it did confuse her pretty bad for about the first couple of weeks.
well, they put this tool in there called a flex tool, and when you're kind of editing and you're kind of moving audio around in the timeline, or this flex tool thing keeps popping up, and there's no way to get rid of it.
Hmm.
And when you're editing an audio podcast, what I do is, basically I'll split the track. Basically I record this one stereo track. That's what I got, and I'll split it and say, okay, I'll insert like an interview, whatever here. Pretty basic. I should be able just to copy and paste it in there. And
Right.
this flex time thing will pop up from GarageBand. And I just gave up on it. And I found that a lot of people used Audacity for
Hmm.
podcasting.
You
One,
know, that's all I ever use as an audio editor is Audacity.
yeah, that's what a lot, well, it's free and it's
Right.
very good. There is a fairly steep learning curve into it once you're trying to do more complicated things.
Well, there's actually a lot more than you can when you first bring it up. It looks fairly simple. I mean, but there once you get into it, there's a lot more that you can actually
There's a
do with it.
lot,
You
with,
visit the forums and stuff. I mean,
yeah.
there's a ton you can do with
And there's a
Audacity.
lot of cool plugins for Audacity, and
Hmm.
you can do a lot with it. And I've used, and now I'm pretty proficient for basic stuff with it. I know how to normalize the audio. I can use the dynamics. I got a plugin for it, a dynamics processor plugin
Hmm.
for it, and I know how to convert things to mono and do all this great stuff. And I can whip out a podcast pretty quick. And one tool that I love, by the way, I recommend this for anybody that's recording audio to give this a try. It's a free little app called Levelator, the Levelator. And they just quit development for it, but there is a Mac and there is a Windows version of Levelator. And what that does is it takes a WAV file, for example, an AI with an AIFF file, WAV file, different formats, and you literally drag and drop it into Levelator. And what this goes through and does is it levels out the sounds, or maybe if you want to consider a form of normalization, but it takes, and like if your co-host volume is higher than your volume, whatever, it'll level it all out. So, your listeners aren't constantly chasing the volume control, turn you
Right.
up and
Right.
down. Does that. It kind of compresses the audio, gives a little bit more punch, cleans it up real nice, and is fully automated. When it's done running, it'll pop a file out right there, and they just amend the extension with a dot output to the end of the file name. And
Is that free?
it's
The
absolutely
software?
free. It's
Hmm.
absolutely free. So what you could do, for example, let's say you record, your screen, because I know you use ScreenFlow and other people do stuff. What you can do, like in just about any video editor, is you can detach the audio from the video and
Right.
save it as a WAV file, for example, run it through Levelator, and then reattach the audio back. And then you've got a lot cleaner sound. And you can do it for free.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's really, really cool. And so most unfortunate the developers quit supporting it. But that's
May
what
have
I
to
do.
check that out.
That's what I use. When I do the podcast or whatever, I'll just run the once it's all edited and all the tracks are mixed together, I'll export the whole thing as a WAV file, and then I just dump it into Levelator, and it does a beautiful job. And then I use iTunes to convert the WAV file to an MP3 file.
Hmm.
And I mean, Audacity, you have to download this plugin called
I use right. I
The
was going to say I
Layman
use
Encoder.
Audacity for that.
No, you
Right.
see, you want to use the one built into iTunes because I believe that's the Fraunhofer encoder, which is a lot better MP3 encoder,
Okay.
and that's free. Okay, so there you have enough geeky stuff on that. Let's talk about. Oh boy, here we go. I'm going to bring these up. and that is the new Surface tablets. Wanted to talk about these.
You're going
Well,
to go out and buy 2 of them, aren't you, Bruce?
well, let's just get real here for a minute. Let me bring that up here. There we go. Let me scroll these up there. So, okay. Another reason I'm going to be happy when we get Wirecast 5. So now we have 2 new Surface tablets. We have the Surface 2, which runs Windows 8 RT 8.1. And then we have the Surface 2 Pro, which runs the Pro version of Windows 8.1. And they received a hardware refresh. And now, and I just want to talk briefly about the there we go. There we go. I want to talk briefly about the Surface 2. Jack, in all honesty, I don't understand why Microsoft is repeating the same mistake they made a year ago. I just don't get it. Nobody wants the Surface RT. No, number one, what am I? You talk about a machine that's got a real identity crisis. That's the Surface RT or Surface 2. Am I a laptop? Am I a tablet? Am I a desktop? But I got a desktop, although you can't install any legacy software on me. And it's $449. Let me tell folks, this is my opinion. There's over 100 million good reasons why consumers are not going to go out and grab the Surface 2. And it's called the iPad. There's been over 100 million iPads sold since 2010. They clearly, in the consumer space, own the tablet business. And then behind them, you have your Android tablets, and of course you have your Amazon with their stuff. If you don't want an iPad, there's a lot of options for a tablet. There's probably 150, 200 million tablets in the market already sold right now.
Right, you can go all the way from the highest end iPad, 128 gig iPad, all the way down to some of these Android tablets. They're practically putting in boxes of cereal nowadays. So I mean, you can go all the way, the whole gamut of price range. And the tablet market is be really hard for, and we all knew this coming in, that the tablet market was going to be really hard for Microsoft to break into, which is ironic since they were the first people to really introduce a tablet.
Well, but see, what Microsoft's problem has been in any disruptive technology, it's all about execution.
Yep.
They've never
been able to execute properly.
They don't execute properly on this stuff, and it takes them like their 3rd or 4th try before they finally get it right. Xbox aside, that was a success from the get-go. Right. Although look at all the problems that, the original Xbox had with the red ring of death and, the ring of death and all that kind of stuff going on. But I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. This is the tablet that they're trying to sell.
$1,300.
Oh yeah, that's for the 256 gig model. That's for the 256 gig model. They start at $899 for the 64 gig. It gets better. Oh no, sir! It gets better. Check that out. Check that out.
That is insane.
$1,800 for the 512 gig model.
We're firmly into MacBook Air prices right now.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about. Okay.
Oh wow.
First off, this machine would not have broad appeal on the consumer market. Obviously, due to the price range. This is priced way out of the budget of most people. Right. It just is. It also begs, and then let's talk about the hardware that this thing runs in. Okay, if I'm a desktop, am I really going to pay $1,800 plus the cost of the docking station, which, by the way,
that come with the cute little keyboard too?
The docking station's $200 for it. In fact, I'll just pull this back up. Here's your accessories. So if you're going to try to use this thing as a desktop PC,
you're going to have
you're going to need the docking station. That's $200.
Yep.
Okay. You're going to want the type cover too, which is another 130. So we're at 18, another two makes it $2,000,
We're up to
21,
21.
2130,
Okay.
2140 right there.
Throw your mouse in
Then
there.
we got to,
We're up
of course, we got to purchase a display because we're not going to
display.
use
Yep.
a desktop with a 10.1-inch display. We're not going
So
to do that.
you're up to $2,500
I'm up to
minimum.
$2,500 on this unit. And when am I going to use? When am I going to use it? Just so I have the ability to take it, use it as a tablet, and I'm going to have all these cool Metro apps that pretty much blow chunks. Most of them are useless, in my opinion.
Wow.
I mean, there's
That
some
is
good Metro
insane.
apps. Don't get me wrong, and I'm sure I might offend somebody on there, but to pay $2,500 for a system that, by the way, is fairly woefully underpowered. I mean, you're getting a machine with the Core i5. It's the fourth gen i5 dual core. I think it's like 1.6 or 1.7 gigahertz machine with the Intel HD 4400 graphics. So you might be able to run some games on it, some modern games, but you're going to have to do it at the lowest possible settings. So it's not really even a good portable gaming rig. So here's the point. We are firmly into MacBook. We're above and beyond MacBook Air territory.
Yep.
Why would I get, okay, and let's just leave Apple out of the equation for just a second. I'm going to
Well, I
leave,
mean, throw in any ultrabook, you're still firmly in the high end ultrabook range right there.
here, I'm going to bring this up on the screen. Okay, I
You're
want to stay, let's assume I want to stay in the Windows world. All right? Don't talk to me
okay.
about Mac. I hate Apple. Everything they do, they suck.
Right, right,
Okay, I don't know why. I just hate
right.
Apple. I'm still going to be able to go out there and I would get a really nice Ultrabook. Ultrabook.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's not a lot of Ultrabooks on the market with fourth gen Haswell processors, but here's
Mm-hmm.
one that I found. It's got good reviews. The Acer Aspire, the S7, and this machine's got some. This has a dual core
i7.
i7, mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
256 gig SSD,
Is
13
that
inch,
eight?
13
Is that
inch
eight
display.
gigabytes of RAM?
8 gigabytes of RAM. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Touch screen, by the
Nice.
way. Touch screen. Weighs under 3 pounds. Has a couple USB 3 ports right with it.
Nice.
Windows 8.1 Pro. It's all there. Really nicely specced out. Let me see if I can find anything else out on here. I mean, this thing has got pretty much all the bells and whistles.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it's got an SD card reader in it. Got really good resolution display, 1980 by 1020, or I'm sorry, 1920 by 1080. HD display. It's got HD webcams built into it. Weighs under 3 pounds. Take it to the office. Plug a display into it. Boom! I'm in business. Now, what am I really gaining by buying this, monstrosity, this this $2,500, this $2,500 without a display? What am I gaining with this stupid Surface tablet? I'm getting a much faster computer on this.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a true laptop experience right there. I can, hook it up, a monitor, a mouse, and a keyboard to it, no problem, via Bluetooth. I'm good to go. Why would I want the Surface Pro?
Yeah, but you don't have that cool commercial that Microsoft puts out every once in a
Well,
while.
I'm not trying to bash Microsoft, and I see what they're up to, by the way, because I subscribe. I follow them on Twitter and all this other stuff.
Right.
And what they're trying to do is they're trying to win in the enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to sell the Surface Pros to the enterprise. So you got like a big airline, and they've got software that'll run the Metro interface on the tablet. Boom, and this is how this is what they tried to do with all some of their other stuff. Like their software, like Office, etc. Let's get it into the business, and then maybe people want to buy one to have at home. I guess that's what they're doing. This thing is just way overpriced, and I think that there's much better alternatives to it out there. They call it a productivity machine, but I see your money better spent on an Ultrabook Or if you want to go to the Apple side, you get a really nice machine with a MacBook Air for a whole lot less money. And you got a faster, more powerful machine. You know, the new MacBook Airs, they scream. This thing probably is a screamer as well.
Yep.
You know, so I
I
I don't get it. I
I don't
just don't.
I don't think Microsoft does either. I think that's the problem. I think they know where they want to go, but they have no idea how to get there. So
You know, I mean, I would definitely consider it. And besides that, to me personally, I'd rather have a machine with a 13-inch screen than a 10.1 inch to spend the day with.
I can't get a lot done. I'll be honest, I can't get a lot done on a 10-inch screen. Be it a netbook or be it an iPad. After a couple of hours, I want about a 13 to 14-inch display if I'm going to get anything done
Well,
at all. And
exactly.
and with a notebook style or with a notebook form factor, and I realize this is a tablet and you can turn it into a notebook. But at that form factor, I'd say 13 inches is about perfect form factor wise. And anything less than that, and they're going to call it a productivity machine, I don't think so.
Well, I don't see, you know, I know these things obviously didn't sell. They still are carrying the Surface RT, which are now selling for 350 bucks. And
Hmm.
Microsoft makes a stupid commercial comparing it with an iPad and using the voice of Siri, and it's stupid.
Yep.
You know what Microsoft didn't do with the launch of the Surface that they should have? They never showed me once how I could be more productive with a Surface tablet. They never
You know,
justified their price to me, and they're not doing it.
right.
Who are they selling these damn things to? That's what
You
I
know,
want to know.
when they're comparing when they're doing a commercial comparing the iPad to the Surface, I mean it literally like comparing apples to oranges. It's two completely different things. It's you can't even sit down and compare the two.
No, you,
Two completely different things.
the only hope for them is to sell these things in the business world. It's in my opinion not worth the money. It's just not because again, I think other than a business, most people use tablets as everyone well knows. Basically, they use them for a media consumption device, and I can sure buy a whole lot cheaper media consumption device than a $900 base model Surface 2 Pro.
Honestly, by the time you max that machine out, you could buy a nicely spec'd out Ultrabook and an iPad
Well, the
for
thing was, I
what you
read
would
an
have,
article that said, well, you know, Microsoft kind of blew because this would make a really great portable gaming computer.
Well, it would
Um,
if it had specs.
it doesn't have the horsepower.
It doesn't have the horsepower to do it. It doesn't have the graphics card. It doesn't have the memory. It doesn't have the processing capability. I mean, yeah, if it was an i7 machine, a maxed out i7, running 8 gigabytes of RAM and a nice 256 gig SSD, sure, that'd be you could probably get
Oh,
bump the graphics up
and
a
you want
little
to
bit.
add insult to injury, the Surface 2 comes with Office, Microsoft Office, with
Hmm.
Outlook now. That's great, but the Pro version does not.
The Pro version
So the
doesn't come with.
$900 version of this thing doesn't ship with Pro, but the 449 version does.
Oh, that makes perfect
No
sense.
one's going to want the stupid. No one wanted the RT version. They were slow. They were horrible. And yeah, when it launched, it was like 10,000 apps. Now saying we got 100,000 apps. That's great. What Microsoft would have done itself a huge favor to take the Windows Phone 8 operating system, port it to pure play tablet, and call it a day, and forget about the Office nonsense. Most people use tablets. They pretty much learned to do whatever they need to do without using Microsoft Office to begin with.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know,
Exactly.
you know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? They already know.
There.
And when I start showing people a 17, $1,800 tablet, well, you can get it cheaper, starting at running to 1,800 bucks plus your accessories. They're going to say, man, I could just get a nice Ultrabook or a nice laptop and call it a day for that. If I'm going to do productivity applications, well, then you got the best of both worlds. If you really want to use touchscreen stuff, fine. And then don't listen. And I'm not even talking about a convertible. There's convertibles out there that basically you can take the screen off and use it as tablet, then dock it, and you've got the PC, and you can get that for same or less money.
Well, I think at the end of the day,
It's
what you just
crazy.
showed when you compared the price and when we maxed it out and we put all the goodies that you're going to need to try to replace a notebook or a desktop system, you put all the goodies with it. What you're looking at, you could go out and if you're a Windows fan and you hate Apple, you could go out and you could get yourself a nice Ultrabook with really good specs that blow this machine out of the water. You can put your Microsoft Office on there. You're still going to come out with money to spare, or for the same money, or maybe even a little less, you could go out and get yourself. If you are a Mac fan, you could go out and get yourself a MacBook Air, dual boot it with Windows 7. And put Microsoft Office on it, you're still going to come out at about the same price range. You're going to have a much more functional machine. Or if you want to get by on the cheap, and all you need to do is be able to edit Microsoft Office documents. There are about 300 or 400 different applications that you can get on an iPad that will all allow you to edit Microsoft Office documents. If you don't need to actually create them, you just need to be able to edit them. You could just get by on the cheap and get you a 32, 64 gig iPad and do the same thing. So I mean, I really Microsoft is really just I really don't understand the people that the idea is there. They know where they want to go. They know where they want to go with this, but the execution of it is just as usual with Microsoft is absolutely horrible. And this is going to bomb just as bad as the first one did, if not worse.
That's isn't Einstein's definition of insanity is to do the same thing
And
over
expect
again
different
and
results.
try to
Yep.
get different results. I don't
Yep.
see it happening. I just don't.
No, no. Let me tell you the definition of insanity. Balmer. Balmer was the definition of insanity. Did you see the BBC report on him today?
I did not.
He did his farewell speech or
I read
whatever at
about his
Microsoft.
farewells where he was crying and stuff, and
He cried and then danced to Michael Jackson off the stage.
yeah.
That's the guy you
Well,
want
I
running
tell you
a
what, though,
multi-billion
I
dollar
tell you who's
corporation.
the guy that runs Ford Motor Company, the CEO of Ford Motor Company, is on the short list to take over Microsoft. Good idea, Macaulay. Is that his name?
I'm not sure, but I guess we'll
I
see.
guess I want to. Maybe that's not the right
I thought
name.
they were bringing in Nokia, the Nokia guy.
Well, I guess Ford
Yeah.
CEO Alan Mulally. Mulally. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Mulally. Mulally.
Ah, got
Uh, Mulally. But at any rate, he is on the short list to be the CEO, next CEO of Microsoft. Just a few weeks ago, because he really turned Ford around. You know, he come up with the One Ford thing and
right.
all this great stuff, and he's got a lot of great exposure in turning companies around. And you know, he mortgaged Ford Motor to the hilt in order to not take bailout money and all that. And you know, Ford has done very very well since all this. He's done a great job getting it turned around. Would that work running the software giant Microsoft? I don't know. I think you really need somebody that's got real technical chops and somebody that's a visionary in technology. And I don't necessarily see this guy as being that person, but you know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We also had new iMacs
Moving, moving right along.
moving right along, right?
Moving right along.
We had
Yeah,
new
they did a
iMacs come out.
yep
Let's
quiet
talk about those.
refresh.
Oh, why is that? Why do you think we did a quiet I mean, iMac uh, is is a you know it still represents a really good portion of their sales.
Why did they do a quiet
Yeah,
refresh?
why didn't they at least yeah,
In my
why just
opinion,
yeah.
why they did a quiet refresh is the average consumer out there, or even the average Apple fan out there, if they don't do something completely different and radical with the form factor, they don't understand that there's been a change. And if you want proof of that, just look at the iPhone 5, the 4S versus the 5 versus the 5S. Your average consumer out there said, "Well, they didn't change it. They didn't change it at all because it looks the same." And if you don't make it a new bright color or you don't change the form factor up, they don't understand that there has been a change. So when Apple does a refresh like this, when they bump the specs up and they do a spec refresh, they're just not very vocal about it because your average person out there doesn't understand anything about it anyway. They don't understand that a 3.5 gigahertz quad core, is better than a 3.4. They don't understand about RAM. They don't understand anything about the Fusion drive. So it wouldn't do any good to have an announcement about the spec upgrade on these when your average person's going to say, "Yeah, but it looks exactly the same as the last one." So when they made the thinner ones, they did an announcement, and when they change the form factor again, they'll make an announcement about that. But until they do, they're going to keep doing these quiet refreshes in the background.
So we did a speed bump, right? We got a little bit faster CPU.
We
We got
we went
four.
from
We
we went
got
from 3.4 gigahertz quad core. We're up to 3.5 gigahertz quad core i7 with course turbo boost up to 3.9. You still get your 32 gigabytes of RAM. Uh, you can go up to 1 terabyte on the solid state storage now, or 3 terabyte Fusion drive. They completely done away with the 768 gig solid state storage option, and you and I discussed this the other
right.
day. Probably just wasn't a real popular option,
No,
and they
sure wasn't.
probably figured, it's been about a year, and they could probably sell the 1 terabyte option for about the same price as the 768 used to be. So they probably just said, it makes more sense to consolidate it. So they weeded out the 768 flash option. You can get up to a 1 terabyte solid state drive or a 3 terabyte Fusion drive. And for those that don't know, that is a 128 gig solid state drive built into a 3 terabyte traditional hard drive.
But didn't they
You
also?
basically
Yeah, didn't they also?
They bumped the video card up
Well, no.
big time.
Well, I wanted to talk about the new Fusion drive.
Okay.
Didn't they bump up? Now it's PCIe, right? Is
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a
on the
major. I
on
was
that?
saving the best for last,
Oh, I'm
Bruce.
sorry.
So
Silly me.
the next thing they did is they bumped up the video card. You can now go up to I think the max was a 680, and that's a 2 gig DDR5 card. Well, now you can max it out with an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 780M, and you're getting 4 gig DDR5 card. I mean that is an absolutely insanely powerful graphics card. A 4 gig DDR5 graphics card. Um, and probably the most major upgrade, as you said, was the PCIe hard drive interface, and it blows. If for people that don't know, this blows the SATA interface completely out of the water. There's no comparison as far as speed. You're actually going to realize the true speed of your SSD with this interface over the SATA traditional SATA interface. And I think they're claiming up to 50 times faster.
50 times faster.
That's what they're claiming, up to 50 times faster than traditional hard drive. So
Hang on.
that is absolutely insane. But the PCI Express, honestly, I think that might have almost warranted an announcement. I think that would have almost been worthy. But like I said, the average person doesn't understand specs anyway, so it's not like it would have mattered greatly to them. But look up the speed in gigabits per second, Bruce, if you can, on the PCIe.
I'm taking a look at some things right
Okay.
now.
See what the speed on that is, if you don't mind.
Um,
But that is, it's going to be some insane speeds. I can tell you now. If you go with the solid state option with the PCIe interface, that's going to be an insane option right there. You're probably going to be looking at, from what I have seen, you're probably going to be looking at speeds in excess of 500 megabits easily, as far as your read and write speeds.
let me pull this up here. All right. So I just pulled this up.
Okay.
Fusion drive performance, 1.5 times. So it's 50%.
50%. There you go. 50%
Now
faster.
50 times.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Got excited there for a
We'll
second.
get
Yeah,
we'll get these really hateful comments in there.
Right. Pardon me for that. Yeah, 50% faster.
50% faster.
Mm-hmm.
Of
But
course,
look
it
at the speeds.
also comes with this too. AC .211 or 802.11 AC Wi-Fi comes with it.
Look at the speeds we were already getting out of it, though, and then imagine 50% faster than that. Even that is absolutely insane speeds right there.
And of course, you have Thunderbolt 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. Anything else here? So I have to turn because I'm actually running this on the Mac Pro, the desktop presenter on there.
Mm-hmm.
I won't have to do that when Wirecast 5 comes out. That'll be nice. And then there's your NVIDIA graphics on there, the 770M mobile version.
Right, you can go up to the 780.
Can you imagine how big the iMac would be if you actually used the desktop version of the 700 series, a Titan or something like that?
I cannot imagine.
Oh my goodness! Speaking of that, I just was looking at graphics cards because I mentioned before I've decided though that I'm leaning very, well, I should say I've decided, but I'm leaning very heavily for my video editing rig and doing YouTube videos and Wirecast and all that of a Windows PC. And so I've kind of settled on iBuyPower because I'm only going to save maybe a couple $100 at max if I build it myself. And then I wouldn't have the warranty and all that kind of stuff like I got with iBuyPower. Because I buy it for the business, it just makes more sense. And, I don't really have the time anyhow to mess with it. But I was looking at different video card configurations on these things, and man, I got to tell you, I'm not really an expert on video cards, but I'm getting quite an education in them right now. Really, it always boils down to: do you want to go with buy an ATI or NVIDIA card, which are reference cards, or maybe a third party because you normally get things like more memory in the card, etc. Right. And so right now I'm looking at potentially putting a Radeon 7950 board with, I think, 3 gigs of DDR5 RAM for the board. And that's not a bad card. Yeah, kind of spendy. They're in that $300 to $500 bucket, I think. But what's the 79? What is it? The 7990 is like $1,000.
Yeah, you with the one you're going with. I mean, that's like your, I don't want to say mid range. It's your upper mid range card, I guess. And then it goes straight from that to absolutely crazy. You're talking $900 to $1,100 graphics cards, which really, unless you are a true professional video editor, you live in Final Cut, you live in Adobe. You're probably never gonna see the full benefits of a card like that, of $1,000 graphics card.
Let me just go.
And that's just my opinion.
But. Yeah, I'm looking at graphics card options right now.
Mm-hmm.
If
you're a gamer, then you could probably get by with one of those $400 or $500 graphics cards you were just talking about and be perfectly fine. But
it's the 7990.
Right.
And right now, iBuyPower, you can get $700 off this card. $700 off. And I'm sorry, that comes with 6 gigs of DDR5 memory.
6 gigs.
6 gigabytes.
Really?
Of memory in the Radeon 7990.
That is crazy.
That is that's pretty doggone potent video card.
It's so funny how fast technology is progressing in that area, because I'm pretty sure just a year ago that a 2 gig, 3 gig video card was unheard of.
Well, I think like anything else, though, there's the law of diminishing returns. Okay,
right,
where the price differential and then what you get for it no longer makes any sense. You got to double the price to get, a 10%.
To get 10% more power, right.
So,
it's, isn't it that way? If you look at your solid state storage.
I'm looking at pricing on here, the 7970s. Okay. I see them anywhere. These are not reference cards, but anywhere from around $700 range. $620 to $700 some bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go to Newegg. Look one up here. Here's one for $5.99, 6 gigs, PCIe, PCIe 3.0, 16 lane PCIe board, $5.99 for that
You
board.
know,
So it was another
compared to
one
what
apparently
you're
I was looking at that was like $1,100 or $1,200 originally.
right,
Wow.
compared to what you're running now, as far as a video production machine,
Uh,
compared to what you're running now, any one of these that you just named off is going to run circles around it. So,
well, that's the other thing. PowerDirector is full 64-bit and works very well with using the core as the GPU of a
hmm
Radeon ATI card
right. That's going
for
to take the
rendering.
for the people that don't know what that means is it's going to take the strain off the CPU. Normally, when you do video editing, it's going to spike your CPU, and with programs like the PowerDirector and certain Adobe programs, it actually puts the strain on the GPU, and it takes that off your CPU. So you're going to see a significant drop in your CPU usage, and it uses the GPU a lot more efficiently.
Well, yeah,
For the people that don't know.
this thing has, like it says, 4,096 stream processors, 6 gigs of DDR5 memory.
Wow.
Okay. I'm not sure what the clock speed on this sucker is. I'd have to do a bit more research on it.
hmm
But of course, now ATI I think they have what they call their new major board, the R9 series. They're
hmm
getting ready to launch. I've seen that was tech people going to a presentation in Hawaii for the launch of the R9 video
hmm
card. So I don't know where that's going to be. Any of these cards should do me just fine because I'm not really a hardcore gamer, although,
Right.
I kind of want to get Call of Duty Ghosts and,
Casual gamer.
well, I want, yeah, I'm a horrible gamer. People go, how come that you only play in campaign mode? Well, the reason is I just don't want to get cussed out by a bunch of 10-year-olds.
That's right. That's
I'm
why I
not
quit.
I might be old, but I'm not stupid.
That's why I stopped playing. Is because I got tired of getting cussed
No,
out
I
by
just
15
do.
year
I
olds.
either shoot zombies or I play in campaign mode, and
That's all I do.
yeah, and I don't want to get humiliated, and I don't. So
Nothing worse than getting sniped by a bunch of
and
10
I
year
bought
olds.
this game, Skyrim, and it makes no sense to me. I sit and played it on the Xbox a little bit.
I
I've got an
too.
18-year-old, 20-year-old grandson. He just goes nuts with the thing. And I'm looking at it and go, well, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? I have no idea. I'm walking around in a circle.
Right.
Going, I'm looking at the sky, killing the dragon, I guess.
Yeah, I refused to get involved with Skyrim. When it first came out, I
Yeah.
thought about it, and I'm like, no, I don't think I want
But
to.
Battlefield 3, I love. I really love Battlefield because I can get on there and just blast away. And I like Halo
Right.
Reach, last
See,
version of Halo.
I like Halo. I like Call of Duty. I like Battlefield. Battlefield graphically is just the best thing going out there.
Have you seen it on a PC running at decent frame?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
I don't have anything decent to run it
it's
on, but yeah, I have.
fantastic.
It is. It
But I tell you
absolutely
what,
is.
man, I've got by today's standards, really weak video card. I have the Radeon 6770,
Right.
and
Is that a 1 gig card?
yeah, it's a 1 gig card.
Hey,
So
I don't want to hear about your graphics woes. I got a 512 DDR3
okay,
card.
yeah, okay. So it's kind of on the weak side, but I can still it's still playable. I still get if I kind of bump down the res and all that stuff, and it's still pretty playable. It's
Right.
enjoyable, right? Okay, so let's wrap this thing up here. You've got a demo for us today. Talk to us about Elegant. What is Elegant?
Probably the most simple app that I've ever done a review on here.
Okay.
Basically, it's just a note taking app. You can just make a to do list. You can take notes, whatever. Very simplistic, very nice, quote elegant interface, and yeah, just really simple, really nice looking, and it's not complicated. It does exactly what it says. Hadn't had it fail me yet, so and
All
it's
right.
free.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and do your demo.
Okay, guys, this is going to be my short review of a new to-do list slash note-taking app called Elegant. And as you can see, it's the one with that's giving me the 3 there, letting me know I have 3 notes or 3 things that I need to do. And I guess where it gets its name from is the fact that it has a really elegant design to it. If I go to it here, you'll see there's my list of things to do today, or things that I needed to get done. And it's very simple to add a new thing to this list. I mean, it's a very, very basic interface, but very elegant. So if I pull down anywhere from on this screen, release to add a new task. So I release it, and then I can just start typing. So this is going to be a test, and I'm going to go to done, and I can set a due date or add notes to this. I can actually append notes to whatever this is. So I'm going to just go to done right now, and as you can see, there's my test right here, and I can edit it if I want to, or if I want to mark it as done, I simply grab it and swipe over until the green check mark appears. And as you can see, it crosses it out at the bottom and says it is done. Now if I want to delete this task, all I have to do is swipe to the left, grab it, swipe over, I will get a red X, and then let it go. And that has been erased. So it's very, very easy to add a new task, to delete. This is its only purpose right here, and it comes in very handy for that. So if I want to actually go to the options here and go to the menu, it gives me the option to add task, see lists, themes, and cancel. I'm going to go to themes really fast. And as you can see, I have a wide variety of themes here. Let's go to, right now I'm using the black and white theme, but let's go to the asphalt theme. As you can see, it changes it just a little bit, and we'll go back and we'll go to themes. Let's go to sunflower, and as you can see, everything's nice and bright and yellow, which I absolutely hate. So we're going to go back and we're going to change that to something else. Let's say silver, and there you go, there's the silver. So as you can see, I mean, it's a very basic interface, very nice, very elegant looking, and it just does what it says, and it's absolutely free. It's in the App Store. I'm not sure if there's an Android version available. I'm going to assume there probably is, but just a really nice little to-do app. Doesn't really get in your way. It gives you notifications, as you can see on my home screen, when you have things left on there to do. So if I want to go in here and I want to clear some of that out, some stuff that I have actually accomplished today. See, I removed the laptop from classifieds, reposted the Dell desktop, and I ended up FaceTiming with Bruce instead of Skype. But we can go ahead and clear that out, and clear it out, and your notifications are gone. But that's just a quick overview of one of my new favorite little to-do applications, or note-taking applications, and it's called Elegant. And check it out in the App Store, and thanks for watching, guys.
And zero. And hey, Jack, thanks for doing that demo for us. That's pretty cool. I need to get a copy of that. All right. You know what? I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up this week's installment of Typical Geeks. You never know what we're going to talk about. Just typical geeky stuff. That is what our show is about. Wherever it goes, that's where it goes. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. Jack, anything you want to add?
Nope.
All right, everybody. Take care, everybody.